So he'll probably tell us about that. But before we move on, let's do some housekeeping things here. As you know, when you come in, the bathrooms are right behind. If you go straight out behind me here, it's to your left. Both men and women's bathrooms are out there. You're more than welcome to come and grab a drink and get some fruits anytime. What else? And then we're going to have five panelists, right? So I'm going to leave that to Michael Tuaj to introduce all of them. And tonight we're going to do kind of almost like a chronological order. Maybe we're going to start with coming here first. How do we get here? And then from there, the struggles, and then the resettlement. God, resettlement. Should it become settlement or resettlement? That's a very interesting word, right? And I'd like to hear about how all of us came to Minnesota. You know, I'm like one of the latecomers. And I know, John, you're like super late. I thought I was late, but we all come here to Minnesota. Why? And that's a very interesting question that hopefully gets answered tonight. And then, you know, why Minnesota? The coldest state in the United States. Probably the coldest place in North America, right? So why Minnesota? That's a, Michael, make sure you include that in your questions as well. We're going to hear from the ladies. My God. Back in the day, the ladies has no voice. You know, they are the caretakers, they're the cooks, they're the gardeners, but over here things are so different. You know, I hope to hear the share of power, or the reversal of power, you know. Hopefully we can hear some of that. And then, you know, we want to hear from the children. I hope we can, you know, see what the children went through. So we have a panelist tonight that actually grew up in the United States, seeing everything change before her eyes, becoming a woman and becoming, you know, starting on welfare, you know, going through the American school system, and then trying to make a living out of what she was given. So we have a full spectrum tonight. So I want to welcome all of you guys. But before we begin, I want to thank our sponsors. Without them, none of this would be possible. First and foremost, we want to thank Lake Country Community Bank and Roshan Corporation, our main sponsors. Thank you so much. And then our founding partners, B&D Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, and Core Trust Bank. These were our major sponsors. Thank you so much for your generosity. And then along with so many local businesses and businesses from out of state, we want to thank you so much for, you know, your generosity and your support. Hmoob Committee 100 would not be able to do what we do without all the support and generosity, so we want to thank you so much. And we hope that this support and this relationship continues and continue beyond our generation. And I was one of the fortunate children to see my bigger brothers and my uncles and my grandmas and grandpas came here and struggle and make a living and make a successful story of themselves. So I am so blessed and honored with that. But anyway, so without further ado, I would like to, noting that the most important people in here are veterans. Can all of our veterans stand up? I know that I see Uncle Yapong there, and I see Uncle Van Jo. Who else? All the veterans. May you Please stand up. Thank you so much. Where's my brother, Dhau? I saw him earlier. You know, I want to, on behalf of all of us children, we want to thank you. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your sacrifice. Without your courage, without your bravery, we would not be here today. So on behalf of all of us, we want to thank you for your service and thank you for the path to bring us here. So I want to truly, truly thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Okay, let's move on into our schedule today. Oh, before we begin, I think, Zhe, how are you? This is Zhe, one of our founding members, and he have a announcement to make. Why don't you come up and do your thing first? Everybody, Zhe.
Thank you, Qhia. I would earlier ask for 2 minutes, so if I take more than 2 minutes, tap me on the back. Okay? Always a pleasure to listen to my own songs. If you heard that song we're playing, that don't go and play my song that I recorded back in 1979. I do not look that old, but that was back in 1979. I was 15, so it's always bring back my memories. I normally don't listen to my music. Somebody else does. But anyway, I come here to make a quick announcement. As we talk about our people who left the country, some flew to Thailand, some escaped easily, some have hardship. So tonight I'm gonna just make a quick announcement that take a note on September 26th, we will have a special day walking around Fairly Lake at your own pace. We want to honor our fallen soldiers, family members who walking through jungles, died in jungle without a grave, died without proper burial, and I'm sure many of you have heard or witnessed or walk across, and we will make that day as we honor our fallen heroes that died during the escape at that time. So I'm extended invitation to all of you. Just come there with your walking shorts, not suit and tie, because we're gonna walk around Fairly Lake. We're not running, we're not jogging. We're just gonna go walk and remember your friends, your uncle, your cousin, and people that you met, and people that you saw and died in the jungle. How many of you, I'm just gonna see hands, how many of you walked through jungles for days in here? Wahua, Noah, and back there are many untold stories, and we would like to hear your stories. Make sure you talk to Mitch, okay? We would like to record your story, telling your story. This story that we hear, the first two panelists and this one, each of us have our own story, but we want to hear your story, how you survive walking through the jungle. So that day will be the day that we honor our fallen heroes. So extend invitation to you. We will make sure that HC 100 pass out information to all of you. So that's I'm here to give you the invitation. Thank you. Time is between 3 and 8. So the walking was roughly start about 4. So just be there. There won't be a lot of speech talk, no drinking, no partying. Just go in there on your shore and just honor somebody that you care, somebody that you know, somebody that you met that they never made it to Thailand. They never get to see America like you and I. Thank you.
Okay, check the Hmong Community 100 website for more information, and join us. September 26th, Lake Balen, okay? It was a little bit late this year, so next year I'm gonna make sure we run, okay? All right, to continue on, I would like to introduce our moderator for tonight. He is a person that is involved with everything and anything. He's a businessman, he's a community activist, he's a musician. First and foremost, he's a volunteerism. He volunteered for everything. And I'm glad to get to know him. He's also a father and a grandfather. So tonight, I would like to welcome our moderator, Michael Txog. Will you come and take the show on the road? Okay.
Thank you. Are you ready? Yeah, we should be ready, right? Yeah, because since the last series, I've been ready since then. Because I'd like to hear from this individual panelists of their story, the sacrifice they faced in Minnesota. So this is the final series, The New Life in America, the 50 years of life changing in Chaws, America. Our life today is tied to May 14, 1975. For those of us who were able to escape Laos to Thailand and later resettle in the United States and other parts of the world, it is important for us to remember our past. But yeah, many of the young generations, especially those who were born in America or other world, you may not know the hardship our parents endured. And now is the time to reflect, to learn, to appreciate the lifestyle that we have right now, that we blessed right now. So I appreciate all of you taking out your busy schedule to come and learn from our panelists. The series of 50 years of long life-changing in Chinese America. As you know, in June, we talked, our series 1, we talked about the last day, May 14, 1975, the journey to Thailand. And last month, in series 2, we talked about the life in refugee camp. And this is the final series of all the series. And we'll talk about the beginning of New Life in America and the challenges we faced in America from 1976 to the late 1990s. As I reflect back in 1978, I came in 1978, so that's how far I can go back. 1978, 79, 80, 82, 83, we were being labeled chink, Chinese, yellow skin, go back to where you came from. This is the thing we've been labeled. And we were beaten by all these people that don't like us. But luckily we have our older brothers who doesn't have a chance to attend high school. They came out there, protect us at the last station so that we don't get beaten. And that is when, that was Professor Li Xiong and many others take the time to learn Kung Fu and karate. It's just for protection. Just for protection, So our final session will highlight the struggles, sacrifice, and the perseverance of our life, our people as we rebuild our life in America, creating opportunity for future generations, and taking time to learn the life experience from our panelists and the elders at home. Take time at home. We will appreciate more of the life we have right now. As you see, the sun will go down, but another sun will rise tomorrow. So the future generation, our future still belongs to our future generations. So to the panelists, as we already talked about the life, the struggle that we refugees from Laos to Thailand, we already talked about the life in the camp. This session here, I want to focus more on the life, the struggles that we have in America since you came here. And there's so many out there, but luckily we are able to get hold of you and be our panelists. So thank you for your time. With that, we want to take this time. So we only 2 hours, so I'm going to keep it short too. So right now, next I want to introduce our panelists to the table. Our first panelist, our first person, he served as military officers in the law armed force during the Civil War. And in February 1976, he arrived in Minnesota, St. Paul International Airport, during the cold, disoriented, uncertain about the future. Despite language culture barriers, he became translator, community advocate, helping fellow Hmoob refugees within hospital, clinic, and refugee services. He worked with the Lutheran Social Service and other agencies to aid job placement advocate for policy change. He also became a respected advocate following across Minnesota and the U.S. to raise awareness and support for the Hmong culture and refugee issues. Today, he owns several commercial properties in the Twin City and is now focused on development of affordable housing. So ladies and gentlemen, can you help me please welcome Neng Xiong. Take the first chair. And our next panelist, he also served during the military officers military in the Laos on the armed force, also during the Civil War. He also settled in Minnesota in 1976, currently a third or fourth family in Minnesota. And he is one of the co-founders of the Association of Hmong in Minnesota. The state first nonprofit Hmong organization established in 1976. Along with him is Dhau, Langva, Tongva. They established the organizations right after they had a meeting in July 1976. Because the challenges we face, such as trauma of war and displacement of cultures, language barriers, resettlement issues. So ladies and gentlemen, can you help me to welcome Qhia? And our next panelist, he was recruited at a very young age as an SGU and served in the front lines. Was trained at a very young age. One battlefield, at the battle, his unit, largely composed of young ethnic soldiers, suffered heavy loss. He was tasked with collecting and bagging the fallen when the enemy retreated. And during another skirmish, he was wounded in the right thigh by enemy fire, a trauma that led him to switch roles and work as a secretary for his uncle in Longcheng for the rest of the war. He also, after the fall of Longcheng, Laos, in 1975, he resettled in Texas in 1976, became a dishwasher in Texas. Life was struggle with language barriers, moved to La Crosse, Wisconsin, then moved to Minnesota, Central Minnesota in the 80s. He's doing his office work considered for the Association of Hmong in Minnesota. Qhia was the executive director then. Please welcome Ma Txog. Cho nên nó lo một đi nó là cái chữ thọ cả là toàn thân bên này. So our next panelist, she came to America at a very young age, at 6 years old, to Ohio. It was during the winter time, very cold, different from Thailand, extended years of classes to learn English, and was able to quickly learn English and then become a translator and interpreter for the parents. And that's what we did back then. Moved to Madison, Wisconsin, met her first love, now for the at a very young age. And teenage life was hard, didn't feel well with the elders. As to the only teachers, as to people say teachers. That's why all the girls get to do house chore at home. If they say teach him, the big boy get to do too, So they all say teacher, they teach her, right? They did not teach him. So all the girls get dishes, doing dishes, doing housework. Got married at the young age to Nafutau right after high school. So please welcome my wife. Remember, we teach him too, okay? Our next panelist. She was born in Central Laos, attended Catholic boarding school at a young age, and her parents valued education highly. Her mother even fought against traditional genders and expectations to ensure her daughter could learn. She married to Qhia, a P-28 aircraft pilot during the Second War in Laos while in the refugee camp. She and her family were among the very first Hmong families to settle in Minnesota, arrived in 1976 after leaving the permanent refugee camp in Thailand. Early in their transition, without much support, she relied on church sponsorship, cleaning buildings, living in crowded conditions with extended family to survive. The experience understood for her the importance of hard work, resilience, and community support. She began her U.S. journey working as a health interpreter at St. Paul Ramsey Hospital, which is now known as Regional Hospital. This role gave her deep insight into the cultural, social, and medical challenges that Hmong families, especially women and elders, face in navigating the healthcare system. Motivated by this challenge in 1979, she co-founded and served as the executive director of the Women's Association of Hmong Lao War, an organization focused on empowering Hmong and Lao women through cultural preservation, leadership development, elder support, and domestic violence awareness program. In more recent years, she continued to her civic involvement by serving on the board of the Minnesota-China Friendship Garden Society. Since 2022, she has focused on building culture and community research across the Twin Cities. She also served as a board member of the Drug Festival and Family. So ladies and gentlemen, please help me to welcome Qhia. So cool, next we're going to have you play the video. Cool, Txog, video.
Americans have signed up to sponsor Ukrainian refugees, according to recent data from the Department of Homeland Security. And one person who was quietly tapped by U.S. officials for how to do this effectively was Lionel Rosenblatt.
Yeah, he and a team helped craft what later became known as the Refugee Act of 1980. Rosenblatt was in Minnesota recently and sat down with us to talk about the creative ways that they were able to get Southeast Asians, particularly the Hmong, to the United States.
Boxes.
So this is
With one name, Rosenblatt.
I was a refugee coordinator based in the U.S.
Lionel Rosenblatt was a Foreign Service officer in the 70s when the U.S. allocated 150,000 Vietnamese to resettle here after the fall of Saigon. Some remained unused, so Lionel went to find those left behind.
I made the case to the bureaucracy and history that we ought to use the remaining 11,000 on refugees who come out to Thailand from Laos and Cambodia to see our army. And so wrote a map and an embassy driver and put a tie on it. We bought a couple of cases of scotch and talked our way out to the various border camps. We interviewed everyone that come in.
On his last day, he ended up in Udon, Thailand, and learned about the Hmong, who had been closely integrated with U.S. forces under the CIA during the Secret War, and credited with saving American lives. But they weren't part of the resettlement stream.
It was a mystery to me why they were good enough to fight for us, but not good enough to consider for themselves. Just knew that there was a bias against us that we were wrong.
That meant they didn't use the word Highlanders in documents as the Hmong were referred to.
And that's how we kind of disguised our early moves.
Lists were made, and in total, 5,500 initially came from Laos.
And here's the original list with his Chaws signature.
Xiong is a director at the Center for Hmong Studies at Concordia University.
It helps us reconnect the dots. We are here. How did we get here? And how do we end up here?
Some of those answers
Without Lionel, we wouldn't know.
are in Rosenblatt's boxes.
The point is that given the opportunity, this country is still is amazing and very different human potential from people around the world. It's an inspiring example for us as well as for other countries to see. And we have to need that kind of fresh blood and energy in this country.
And an interesting tidbit that I'll actually share with Qhia was that the Hmong were the only group that he encountered who wanted to all stay together, and clan leaders came up with a lot of different options So the U.S. couldn't make it happen in its capacity. Only when Lionel told them about secondary migration in the United States did they agree to come here.
Interesting. All right, well, Jen, you have...
All right, Lionel Rosenberg. People call him Easier. He just follow out. Okay. Well, okay,当天呢，也国家弄就可是到你技能那些好不什么，到你技能点到，也打看到你个嘛，弄你也好多时候不包的啊，你为你个 experience 的长的啊，被动样么的感觉。So for those of you, I'm going to ask one common question for all 5 panelists to answer, so you get to know who they are. And then after that, I will ask individual questions because they each have their own experience in America. Okay. And for those of you in the audience and also panelists, we are live on the internet. So we have a lot of people watching from the internet side too, okay? So this first question, I'm going to ask Neng Xiong. ตอนนี้ตู้ชาวอเมริกันได้นี่ปออะไรอย่างนี่สาริยานะ Yeah, can you share the life experience when you first arrived in Minnesota? อย่างที่พี่กันก็เหมือนที่เราบ้านอย่างพี่ก็เลยต่อแก是ตู้ชาวอเมริกันได้ก็ปออะไรอย่างก็สาริยา或者ก็สาริยา Anyway จะรู้นี่อย่างนี้ผมพี่จะชิผมหัว Ella lo follow need to follow more your line.
Well,
the both of Mongolish skin.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me here to talk about my own experience. When I arrived in America back in 1975. 76, February 76. It was really a shock for me because I came from a temperature of over 80 degrees in Thailand to Minnesota to experience the bitter cold temperature in Minnesota, which was below zero when I arrived here in Minnesota. So my sponsor came to pick me up at the airport. Well, actually, I arrived at the airport and then I didn't see my sponsor. So I was looking around, hoping that someone would pick me up and nobody. So I then looked up the paperwork and so it had the agency, International Institute of Minnesota, was the sponsoring agency. So I called him. And I said, I am here at the airport, but there's no one here to pick me up. And so I don't know, is this the right number to call? Oh, you arrived? I said, yes, I am. Well, according to our record, you won't be here until tomorrow. So apparently there was that change of, daytime over here, nighttime over there. So this is day difference. So they thought that I would be arriving the next day instead of that day. So then finally I waited for a while and the sponsor would show up to pick me up. And so they asked me what part of Vietnam I was from. And I said, I'm not from Vietnam, I'm from Laos. And they said, Laos? Where is Laos? I said, well, it's bordering Vietnam, Thailand, and Burma, and Cambodia. So they knew nothing about the Lao refugee, knew nothing about that. They said, okay, so then I say, so are you Laotian? I say, yes, I'm Laotian, Hmong ethnic from Laos. And they knew nothing about the Hmong ethnic, so they knew nothing about us. So I tried to educate them. And like I said earlier, as I exit out of the airport to the car waiting for me outside, I was having trouble breathing, catching my breath because it was so cold. The temperature was below zero. And so I thought, well, am I coming to the right place? It's so cold here. And so then I got to the car, and it was warm in the car. So they drove me from the airport to my apartment in St. Paul. And at that time, there was no green. All the trees were like, they were all dead, brown. So I said, oh, so how come all these trees are dead? They said, no, it'll come back again in the spring. So I felt better. So they took me from there to my apartment, and then I got to the apartment. They tried to teach me how to use all refrigerators and so on. As you know, many of you may not have the appliances that this country give to us when we arrive here. So they worry about us, and they try to teach us how to use the appliances and so on. And so it was really a shock for me because the first time I arrived there in Minnesota, and I'm not sure about others, but really when I arrived, it was truly a shock. And I was so lonely, no one around. There was no other monk or lab that I knew at the time. And so I thought, well, hopefully someday there will be other people that I could talk to that from my country, Laos. And so that's how I.
Thank you. Thank you. Again. Another year, can you share your life experience when you first arrived in Minnesota?
ลุงร้อนไอเดียของกินพวกกินมันเน่าของเก่าพวกเรามันลืมเจียวเลยนะเจียวตัวชี้เจ้าชงเราคุยชี้ตัวพระเจ้าหลงคิดเขาคุยเกิดตัวเสด็จวิกาก็กี่ที่สิเราคุยพระเจ้าอีเวนลุงไทยลุงร้อนเราตรงนี้คงสอบได้เจ้าเราคุยจากนี้ตรงในภาษาเราแต่คุยเฉพาะเดียวคุยเลยจ้ะเดี๋ยวเชียร์เขาจังเจ้าจะเลย cú do tụ lầu sắp lớn đi cho nhau nó tí xíu do ai nè thầu cú tua cú mua nên có gì xong thì ta xin nó bây giờ nhau tổ chức cho xong thì cú mua xa cho gì xong nên xã thêm đồ lầu đi chỉ nhau thì chỉ cho tổng tiền tổng ca bị chơi đó thì xin rồi ra xếp bên cú xa thì cú thầu ở trong đâu cho Neej kana committee, Neej group committee wa lu ko basically part or basically or be to shale to nu na dia to tham nu na ya yi kho chang chang gu sa dia yo gu sha ju yi xiong de de chen bao gu de yo gu hai zhou gu zhou mi no de gu de ni ma mo mo ke và lần mà thì hơi ta bé mà bé lần tuần nhau từ hôm nay cả tết mà nhưng chúng mình thì một bé lần bé cái quả cứ sẽ được cho số tuổi trong buổi chiều bé lần thì hơi ta tôi ý tôi lần tôi ở thì tôi bé thì do để cúi mu xóa lần theo ta cứ là chỉ cú chủ tàu chia cú gặp cú cứ là một chế độ này là sai mẹ sử dụng tăng cường bị cho thấu mà chỉ một GPS thấu chỉ một đã chỉ để có một cái sai mẹ để xí mà giờ có chỉ lấy có một số là có cái cháu lúc phải có cái sai mẹ có một chút tao thế chỉ yêu chủ có để nó ít tuเป็นต้นเลยประจำคืนนะtừ tăng trổ lại mẹ chơi rồi lấy có tin do cái chỉ nó với cái bé mà thấu bị nhôm của nó ít thò mà tê rồi này surprise thế cho tê tụi ông nông tranh của tê tụi chuyện tranh thấu tôi xong mình cả tê cũng tranh ngon lo tê mà cũng chỉ mình cả tê mà trong có cơ đi nhỏ chúa xe mình ban đồng chúa xe thì gì bây giờ cú tua sau đó nên police sẽ có chắn một đó cú chia lúc chia tên nó cho trong cái cú nhia tạo thì cũng không share hay là thì mình cả tên trong nó sẽ cú tua ít lần nó sẽ cú trả nhau tại chỉ nên mà thủ mà phải chụp bao thì này tổ tua nữa phải chụp bao thì phải cho nhỏ tôi yêu của phải rồi nhau lúc mình cả tên nữa thì vì trả tên trong này là cho họ thì lúc sinh ở đây lúc bé thì tu thì cũng tôi cho và lúc có thì lúc ở bé thì mà tí có thì tôi chờ ở xem mấy police sample airport đó nữa chỉ do nên đó chỉ bây giờ thổ lo chơi kia thì quý thì chỉ phong xem chơi kia của họ thì giờ lên họ thì vì cho họ thì cũng cho sponsor tôi cho thì tôi tỏ phụ lợi nè tôi tỏ phụ lợi chỉ hay lo li chỉ lấy sao còn surprise của thế là chỉ của li surprise thế chỉ lúc mà của thâu lòng thế của chuyện này bên một lòng chuyện này của cháu họ theo của thì nó tôi cứ thế nhận ra tôi muốn nhau về của rap ở trong một bên cả nó hỗ lo phải mình hỗ cha chỉ liên quan với nhau họ sẽ chỉ hay lo li khi họ chú của một số bây giờ rau ở nơi Asia ở đây chỉ là gì rồi còn cả lúc ra ở lúc bây họ lấy buồn đau thế ở một họ dùng bạc chia chia ta thì gì chỉ bảo rồi ta chỉ nói sao bây giờ cả ở đây mong ra là những họ cả số chế rồi thì bây giờ trả rồi chỉ có hai của hai có thể bây chỉ sắm mà cứ sửa lúc ra sao mà rồi là cái đầu tiên thì sponsor mà tham gia sponsor cho những tuổi thì bao giờ tuổi bên họ thì insha cơ là chỉ lấy chỉ bảo là nhiều điều chỉ lấy chỉ hỗ trợ tông cho nhiều lấy chỉ khai nhiều ý giả đó chỉ lấy sao surprise thế là họ nhiều là chỉ cá nuôi ý giả chỉ thế là nhiều chỉ bao thì luôn nhẹ nhiều thế luôn chỉ nhẹ nhiều chỉ bao đi chỉ mà nó chỉ bữa họ cà phê tổ họ thì sponsor tổ cho thì sponsor thì bây giờ này chỉ bữa số này cho ra bây giờ thì chỉ là bê đi này bây giờ cho món nó thì này chỉ nó thế bây giờ chỉ bao thì bê đi này đó chỉ nó bê chỉ bê sản xuất này thì bê chỉ thì chỉ trong này đi nó này thì chỉ bao nó chỉ mà nó lần cuối cà phê của chị thì chỉ luôn được một chế phê mà trong xe tôi xí lời tê rau tê mò lời tê ra chơi ít của chị nhau hậu chế lấy hai cái everything in the house is yours lấy hai cái nó thì mà trong xe thì bây tôi cho còn nó lời tôn là bây trong họ bây chỉ thấy gì thì chỉ họ sơ trong lần này họ thì nhỏ thì do thì sponsor đầu tiên còn đóng tranh mà tôi chỉ có được những tranh rồi để họ là thế là hết bệnh này cho rồi những chỗ thả luôn những chỗ là họ lên tiền rồi nhẹ những cái chỉ nhẹ này chỉ sáng thả trong này cả thì lúc bên đi tôi sẽ chỉ sử dụng cái rồi chẳng lo cho tiền món là chỉ tranh rồi chỉ mà điนู่นlà chỉ còn giờ mà đi ở bên thả là dùng chỉ là các lồng rồi đó rồi chỉ thả chỉ lo cho chỉ sẽ dùng nhau để trả nó để trả rất thì trong đó cũng chỉ bây giờ sẽ được rổ còn chiếc hạt trái xoay sang rổ mà số lô bông cho đất chi mà nó là chỉ nó hay cái gì do xe ít bộ trái giả thì xin mà cứ trong xe họ thì yếu tố cho thì yếu theo đó sponsor được thì bắt họ thì bên một ông thủ phong dương chương trình bao ít thứ nhiều liên quan tôi được xem bao ít thứ nhiều và này nó hơn ta tôi nhóm chỉ chuyện nên nó chỉ theo lý để theo lý là chỉ nên cho bên chuyện một sai được một số có đó còn nó thật gì đó hơn ta đâu đó thì một số hơn ta nói ít lòng mong ta lúc một chế chỉ một chỉ số để khơi cho mong thì tôi bảo giờ liền chả bé mà tôi cho là giờ tôi lúc bé tập bộ anh chỉ một đi chỉ tiêu liệu một số lên thì một số lên mà cũng chỉ cho khá rồi họ để tiêu lên tàu rồng chỉ rồi lên mà lên cho international institute giờ cho sponsor lên tour chỉ mua cho kia có được ba rồi lên được rồi ít bao lên dùng trong được thì cũng một tour thì cũng một số lên thì lên cũng nhau sờ bài chỉ mua tăng mạnh rất chỉ thằng đó thì bây giờ thì giờ đi nó chỉ giờ cha bây giờ nó chỉ bây giờ là tôi bây chỉ bao giờ vào rồi chỉ bây giờ muốn chơi nó tao tết tôi này khá lo chỉ lo đi muốn cho mình chỉ nó là tôi đây thế thì thằng đó chỉ thấy khá đi tại sao nó chỉ cả nó thôi thì nên nó cái cho khu được của trường khởi tới đây thì cái một nón chế thì chi học được lòng chế cái mà si thả mà si chơi lòng chế cái mà tháo thằng nó đau chế cái họ nên nó có số lượng sẽ đạt được thì si họ surpriseอยู่มายิ่งมันต่อชั้นต่ออย่างvì cho họ thì họ tư là ít chúng nó mong lên này chúng nó nên đủ họ lên này một tụ bao nhiêu là thế này chỉ là chỉ nhá là và này nó một trong họ tiêu chỉ bỏ nên đủ họ lên chỉอยู่bỏ ít thứ nhá là ít thứ chơi nhiều số nhá là phảiอยู่อีสานchơi được một thả xe nhiều nữa nên gì một tí cho mong mà cho một tới đó thì này nó công trong đồ thả luôn chỉ sáng đâu có thả luôn chỉ bao con này giờ chỉ luôn tu chỉ cho luôn xâyอยู่สายแล้วchỉ是ทีนี้นู้สวยอยู่รู้อ่ะแม่บอกอีโนมาตัวอ้อได้ไปได้อีโนมาตัวอ้อได้ไปได้อีหลีสิที่อยู่ตัวอีแม่บอกที่เราจีที่อยู่ตัวอีน่าสักก็ลงจะหาเดี๋ยววีเดียววันนี้เดินมาวีจะหาเดี๋ยวถูอยู่ตัวเจกุยให้ตัวเนี่ยเนาะโอกาสนอนเฉลี่ยเลยเจไปหาตั้งเจไปเป้าเดี๋ยวไปตัวเจไปตั้งเจรู้แล้วก็โอเดี๋ยวจะน้องอยู่มุมในการเต้mua sử dụng để chế bên tăng cho nó chế sử dụng bao chế chỉ ta đi tới chế qua bu họ lâu cả đó nên nó bu đồng bu nhớ hậu chưa có sản phẩm à do American consulate cái do branch of embassy chỉ quý nên nó mua cả đó trên tàu Việt Nam chỉ nên nó mua cả hậu còn nó thì chẳng mua nông khai rồi có thế thì ít chi nữa thì ít đâu này nó khát tơ theo rồi để cho nó biết cho mua cái giờ khát tơ theo mẹ thằng sản chỉ mà thầu của tôi chỉ cho cũng bao tiêu ô như nó mua mình cả té nó chỉ từ nuôi dọn rồi chỉ từ mua té rồi ta vì nó cũng chỉ lấy tôi cho thì nó chỉ theo nên nó một số mèo nó chỉ dù cho là từ từ ít trải con một bóc theo vì cho hai cho này do gì do không cho chứ shop cũng nên tôi cả là dù cho nó một số chỉ auto để nó muốn cho xe chở cho chỉ mình theo ở lên theo ta được sự thì ít kho cũng xa hai cho nên cho đồ sẽ được tiền cũng xa để nó hai cho nên sẽ được tiền nên còn ta lưu lộ mình ở lên lưu lộ còn là gì giờ hai thì gì giờ most important chứ ở ta tổ cho biết chơi gì chỗ ư gì
để nó biết tính chẳng đi tua để nó biết tính chẳng đi tua
ok nên chỉ tua nó là nên chỉ sai được trong chỉ để số nó lên chỉ một lần chơi cuối một lần
chỉ như thế này nó vào nó anh cô nhà có cái cử này họ phải làm sao một chỗ mạng
ok thì ở trong đó là ở vấn đề của cho chơi của sao có nên cho được một thế cho lầnพิเศษcho lên cho ítตัว
đó cũng mà cả cho các họ experience tốt cho mình cả tên tốt cho nó cần trồng đi nhà nó còn thì khi có suốt theo
thằng gì nó cũng tôi thấy là cũng nên những mình cũng chỉ trò chuyện cũng chỉ bao luôn mình cả nên là I speak no English, ok cũng bao mình mê thằng bây giờ thì huệ cũng cần phải tập đi xe vậy bao mình mê cái gì đó còn đó cái gì mà nhớ chắc là kiến tàu nữa chỉ cũng hài lòng bao nhiêu luôn bất kỳ sự thì cũng tôi cho cũng số tôi rồi Houston, Texas thì cũng chúng một sponsor đấy na giờ lúc này khungการแล้ว IRC นะจะได้ลาตัวซื้อnữa thì cũng tôi nhớ là Texas thì cũng có hậu lựcต่อไอ้รุ่นบริษัทแล้วก็ Holiday Inn นะรุ่นร้านอาหารเนี่ยรุ่นแนวอะไรน้อยรุ่นแนวโฮเทลล่อนะเก็บกูหมูวนตัวแต่เดียวตัวต่อเก็บนี่นุ่มหมูลอยใจรถเมล์ซื้อเก็บเบอร์ซื้อเก็บเราจะตัดเก็บไว้รุ่นเก็บรุ่นมันเต่ารุ่นมันเต่าพอเก็บกูฉีดเชื้อทองเลยเก็บมันเต่าตัวเลยทั้งนั้นเลยหรือเรื่องที่说หรือเรื่องที่มันหรือมันคู่นะเก็บเนี่ยนะหรือเราเต่ากูซื้อเก็บกู
体现都这样做样子，蒙上面蒙的做做样，给不做做样的，给学不有多人做别人那个啥很了，给手到给手了给不样接了，不都叫，搞了个有点绝了，给有老过了嘛，哦，多到喽，我那个一拉米用，拉苏喽，给。不抓去利用到你把你包起不要动那你的动炮，那那是嘛不差的，也不抓用，好多写了，也不往那不山那里去走不了，也不了，上学也不过的，我半年就不的，我讲个条领导也别打了半年天，半年天这些胡说八道，我给老娘打啊，我快。这个这几套你不是还得去带了呢？现在这里还跟能吃。北方要做到这些了，都到那里说了，我4、8大的呢。现在有比较做工的，Houston Texas 这里亚那老做到的，那说怎么去？nhau bọc hứng cổ lên mà để chỉ ta đến đây để cho tôi à cũng như nhau tỏ để cũng cho những cái lô chỉ bao lùi để cái kia bỏ đồ nó bằng được nói để thân thơ tụi nó cũng sắp lần á để nhường cô đi vào nhẹ nhàng thông giờ đủ bao lùi nhau đủ bao lùi gió đủ bao lùi nhau đồ một cái phe nữa để tạoเราเท่าเส้นพอนะเห็นที่ตาเด็กกูเปลี่ยนมึงตาเห็นที่คนอัพพลายกับแฟนกูมาเด็กกูที่เทียบเราต้องเดือดเส้นพอเนาะกูเราต้องต่อแถวเราต้องเดือดเส้นพอนะเด็กย้อนหนึ่งป้องหนึ่งจะกูป้องต่อเต้นต่อตาเลยเดี๋ยวหนึ่งที่กูเดินไปหนึ่งที่หายกูต้องป้องนะเนี่ยน้องกูถึงหาป้องแต่นี่หนึ่งแค่เที่ยวจ้าหนึ่งแค่ก็อีซ่าหนึ่งหายกูtu này nhá phút thằng cái mà chụp nó leo nhưng mà tới mà rồi rồi cái trò rồi kia người hai trong cái có qualify có tàu win program có sự